Man, so Ninja Gaiden is back, and after 10 hours of getting my cheeks absolutely destroyed by Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, I could finally answer the question, is this the comeback the franchise needed, or is it just another rage-inducing letdown? Let's jump right into it. After years of waiting, Ninja Gaiden fans finally got what we've been dreaming of. This is honestly the year of the ninja. Earlier this year, we got Ninja Gaiden 2 Black like a remaster. We just got Ninja Gaiden Ragebound even a couple weeks ago, and then we're also getting Ninja Gaiden 4. But I want to talk a little bit more about Ragebound. Ragebound is not just some comeback; it's a love letter written in blood, sweat, and just pure nostalgic perfection. It argues with every single slash, every jump, that nostalgia isn't just about how games looked, it's about remembering how they felt. But that nostalgia isn't just about how the games looked, it's about remembering how they felt. But here's what most reviews won't tell you about why this actually works. So the second you're able to boot up Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, you're hit with a huge blast of nostalgia. Right off jump, soon as you get to the main start screen, the game kicks off with this incredible prologue where you play as Ryu's father, Joe Hayabusa, in his life or death battle, adding quite a fantastic layer of context right from the start. The pixel art is absolutely gorgeous. The developers, the game kitchen, just get what made that era look so good. Our new hero, Kenji Muso, looks instantly iconic. He has this nice, like, bluish, blue and red type of like vibe to him against the dark demonic backgrounds. And man, speaking about the backgrounds, the environments, dude, you started at Hayabusa Village, right? And brother, the soundtrack for this game, oh my god, it goes hard, bro. I'm loving the whole soundtrack of this game. It really fits that tune of just classic arcade games, or even when most arcade games are just brought to consoles. And it's just like, man, and then like when you're in like some of the later levels, you're in these dark forests, and then just the layers of parallax scrolling creates this incredible depth between like the background and the foreground, and it makes it feel like these games are just like a little bit more alive, even though it's a 2D side scroller. The game even has accessibility options, which there are quite a few, but the main accessibility option I personally liked myself was the CRT filter. Now, for those of you who don't know, just in case if you haven't been through the CRT days, but CRT is basically a specific type of display that was on TVs back in the day. And if you needed anything like an RCA or like, the old days, just like most TVs were just with the ass on the back, but this filter lets you change the look of the game to even feel more like those displays from back in the day. Just like in the Nintendo and even arcade days, you also get a world map where you can choose your next level. Think of games like Double Dragon or like Streets of Rage. You can choose your next level on the overall overmap. Now, speaking of missions, Ragebound also wanted to add a little bit to the difficulty to this game, as unique challenges for each mission you come across. Basically asking you to do 3 specific challenges where it'll probably ask you like, oh, hey, don't get hit for the entire boss fight, or hey, don't fall into any traps, hey, destroy this particular enemy type 10 or so times, and then once you do that and you complete all 3, or even some of the challenges, you get a little bit of extra rewards per mission you do, and it could help overall increase your overall rank for each mission. There are also even collectibles as well in each of the missions. So there's like blue skulls, there's golden scarabs, there's scrolls, scarabs. I said scarabs. There's golden scrolls. There's so many things, but the main important part that you will want to care about is the golden scarabs, which you can actually sell to our boy Muramasa. Yes, he is back in Ragebound. He's acting as our merchant, allowing us to upgrade Kenji's talismans and even Komori's gear later on. And you're probably asking, who in the hell is Komori? Well, I'll get to her later, right? This overall game feels, looks, sounds like the past, but I feel like it's perfected what the past was trying to do. especially with modern day technology. Where the game truly shines is right when the demo started. Now, yes, I did cover the demo. I do have it on the channel here, so I'll link it to you if you want to be able to check it out. But overall, with you playing as Kenji, you're training with Ryu Hayabusa himself, the GOAT, the best ninja known to mankind, right? And it's awesome watching the master train a student. Here, the game teaches you its very two most vital mechanics. The first mechanic is essentially the guillotine boost. This is a rhythmic aerial move that allows you to bounce off of projectiles and enemies. And in simpler terms, it's honestly your parry system or your counter system. The next mechanic we need to take a look at is the hypercharge system, and any enemy with an aura around it that is blue or red, you must defeat them with a particular attack, which allows you to enter a supercharged state, killing pretty much most enemies in one attack. The blend of these two mechanics is the dance this game wants you to learn, and they want you to learn it very fast, because if you don't learn it fast, you're going to be in hell and high water, because I trust you this right now, the missions get increasingly difficult, some of the bosses require some form of mastery of those two mechanics, and it keeps you on your toes. But towards the end of the tutorial, you're met with a sparring match against Ryu. And of course, and I didn't think this would be possible. Actually, no, it is possible. It's very possible. This man, Ryu, put BTA to me, belt to ass. That boy whipped me up and down the thing. I'm like, I couldn't beat him in the demo, and I could still beat him when I got the actual official game. And man, and what's even crazier, bro, he hits you with a legendary Izuna drop to finish the duel. And honestly, it feels like a rite of passage, you know? It feels like a rite of passage overall. Just like he hits you with the Izuna drop, you're playing as his student, and it's just like, hey, everybody else caught the work with this Izuna drop, and you're gonna catch it too. But this game is hard. That's one thing I want everybody to know before you hop into Ragebound. It is hard and it will test you, but here's the thing. It never feels unfair. The guillotine and hypercharge systems are honestly the foundation, the core gameplay of Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. Utilizing these two mechanics is pretty much how you are able to survive this game. If you don't master them, you'll just die over and over and over again, right? The difficulty is entirely based on your skill and as well as understanding of the game's mechanics. As you move through the different levels, some of the enemies require different strategies to maneuver past them. But once you achieve that mastery, you can literally blitz through any enemy, cut them all down, incredible speed, you know, becomes quite necessary when the screen starts filling up with a bunch of enemies and most of the enemies are trying to do melee attacks and the other enemies are shooting you with the projectiles. You gotta stay on your toes. So once you get that better idea of what the guillotine boost can do, it can make life a little bit easier when you're coming across things that need to be taken care of for the hypercharge system. But after clearing Act 1, we are finally meet our secondary protagonist, and this is what changes the entire gameplay in itself, and lore wise changes the lore just a little bit. We get to play as Komori, a beautiful ninja from the rival Spider Clan. She uses kunai knives as her main weapon. She could fire them in 4 different directions, and playing as her is what gives us a bit more information on how the Spider Clan operates, which is a cool perspective in itself, especially coming from we've been fighting these guys for years, you know? After defeating her levels boss, you even get a secret ops mission, which is this game's secret levels that you're gonna unlock throughout your journey. But where the game truly takes place, other than introducing a secondary protagonist, is that in a desperate bid to survive, Kenji and Komori both merge, and it allows us as the players to both control them, as Komori resides inside of Kenji, forming this strange alliance between the Hayabusas and as well as the Spider Clan ninjas. But like I said, this is where the game evolves and your entire core gameplay starts to change just a little bit or even drastically. You have to learn how to fight as both, with Komori being able to sling kunais and scythes, basically being your ranged fighter, and Kenji dealing all of your close range attacks. This fusion mechanic introduces a key bar, which governs how many of Komori's abilities you can use before it needs to be refilled. This adds to the dance I was talking about, because how now the enemies will share both blue and pink auras, and to trigger that hypercharge you must attack the enemy with the correct character. If it's a blue enemy, you have to hit him with Kenji. If it's a pink enemy, you have to hit him with Komori. If you do not, you do not get the hypercharge. But as you do fill your gauge, you can also unleash an ultimate attack called a Ragebound art. Now you can get more Ragebound arts by buying them from Muramasa, but essentially they're just an ult once all of your orbs are filled up to the brim. But this dynamic alone is even built into the level design. In certain missions, Kenji can trap himself inside of a demon altar to unlock the game's theoretically the speedrun trials, where you also must control Komori to reach the end of that trial. Now, Komori can only be free for a short time, so you have to rush through the trial, collect the blue orbs to also extend your time. And honestly, when it comes to their dynamic, I love it. Kenji and Komori, they're dynamic with each other. From somebody being sworn enemies, and then like throughout the journey, you can see them come and warming up with each other. It's weird but good at the same time, because you got to keep in mind, man, their clans have been at each other's throats for centuries. Feels like forever. Especially if we're going back into the Nintendo days, like they've been throwing hands with each other for a while. And now we have two vital key characters in both clans having to work together. Is honestly a blend of a lifetime, and I truly love the dynamic between the two of them. Overall, the bosses also have really cool designs. With each new boss, the difficulty shoots up incredibly, requiring some form of mastery of all these mechanics. Out of all the bosses in the game, the Revashi, the flying looking one boss demon, brother, she got on my last nerves, trying to just dodge all of her lightning attacks and everything like that. And she chased us down, and like her boss fight really agitated me, but that's the part about it. And I'm loving every boss fight in this game, because each boss fight is very unique to them own selves, and essentially each one has a theme that clues you into the strategy that you need to win to defeat them. Whether you need to use more of the hypercharge system, maybe you need to use more of the guillotine boost, maybe positioning, maybe like everything about fighting the game's bosses is what truly make this game very fun to play. And from me booting it up to me beating the game, I genuinely enjoyed my time through and through with this game, and it's honestly really fun. Once, like, if you guys wanted some truly difficult games like Ninja Gaiden, or even some of the old Nintendo, like the NES games, essentially, those are a true difficulty comes. I know we're in a state and time period where almost every developer is making a Souls-like or a rogue-like in a sense, but Ninja Gaiden will always be one of those truly difficult games. And the fact that you can make it even truly more difficult with a hard mode or playing harder difficulty versions of these games, it really opens up like that punishment that people really enjoyed from these games. But honestly, the commitment to honoring and evolving a classic is what makes Ninja Gaiden Ragebound so special. But now I actually want to hear from you guys, right? What is a game that pushed you to your absolute limit? One, you almost hate it, but once you obtain that aha moment and fell in love with, let me know your story in the comment section below, because I would love to hear about the games that just made you just a better gamer. You know, the true definition of get good, you know. And of course, if you enjoyed this story of pain and triumph over Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, then just consider liking and subscribing for more deep dive into games that challenge us. So after all is said and done, the main question that needs to be answered is Ninja Gaiden Ragebound just another retro clone? And honestly, from my answer, is absolutely no. This is a game crafted with a surgeon's precision, the artist's soul, and it's a rare achievement that understands that a true love letter isn't about copying, it's about understanding. It understands why players are drawn to the brutal difficulty. It gives us that challenge that is demanding yet impeccably fair. Most importantly, it understands that the spirit of these games was in their innovation. Ragebound honors that by introducing brilliant ideas of its own. The core dance of the guillotine boost and hypercharge, combined with the strategic depth of the character fusing system, creates an overall gameplay loop that is fluid and outrageously fun. The parallel story doesn't just retread old ground, it honestly respectfully expands the universe. And Ninja Gaiden Ragebound is basically a conversation between the past as well as the present. It takes everything we loved, the precise platforming, the relentless combat, builds on it with a modern day design that smooths out the rough edges without sanding down the core challenge. It respects your memory, but it also respects your time. It's thrilling, masterfully designed experience, and one of the best action platformers I've played in years. It's not just some love letter. Honestly, it's a new chapter and an absolute must play for anyone who has ever felt that electric thrill of just conquering the impossible. But as always, stay safe, Outcast, and it's been your host, KSTTV, signing out. Peace.